This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
How are you doing this week, Tim?
Tom, I'm run down.
Ooh, well, I'm hopped up. I'm relaxed.
Relaxed and hopped up are two very different things.
I'm relaxed, and now I'm on the way up.
You're on the upswing.
Yeah.
You've taken time to
I've
relax.
taken a couple of poppers, and I'm
Poppers?
Yeah. That's what all the kids are doing nowadays.
What are jalapeno poppers?
Jalapeno poppers, yeah, Tim. They've got cheddar cheese on the inside and a nice fried breading on the outside.
Tom, can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
You ever have these jalapeno poppers with cream cheese in them instead of...
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be gross, but they're sublime.
Look, I'll take a popper any way I can get it.
Now, what's poppers the drugs?
Poppers, the drugs are amyl nitrate. Is that how you say it? I think that's how you say it. I think it makes you real high for like a few seconds and then gives you like a crushing headache. Like, it's a real dumb drug to take.
I'm not a drugs person, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a Whippet?
Yeah, I think it's similar to that.
And what's a Whippet?
That's when you take an
aerosol can?
Yeah, like a Ready Whip, whipped cream, but you hold it up and you suck in the gas. Because when you hold it up, the whipped cream doesn't come out, just the gas comes out.
Right.
And you suck that, and again, it makes you feel real good for a few seconds, but it's like, cutting off oxygen to your brain or whatever, and somebody's going, actually, Whippets aren't that bad. Shut up.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid that if I try any kind of drug, or a Whippet isn't a drug, it's just a bad idea. I'm afraid that I'm going to die the first time.
It's along the lines of sniff and model airplane glue.
Right.
There's a few different things like that can, I think, make you feel good for a few seconds, but then, A, they're bad for your brain, but B, they hurt a lot. And I think
they hurt, like, afterwards?
Yeah. You get a headache from them. So I think the idea is that's fine to do once or twice, but like if you're looking at...
You're a terrible role model.
If you're looking to do drugs, go find some real drugs.
Yeah.
Get out of the supermarket and the model train store and get down to your local park and find some real drugs from a man selling them.
The internet, the dark web.
Yeah.
I had an expired whipped cream in my refrigerator recently.
Yeah. Well, do some Whippets with it, because you can't eat the cream, but probably the gas is still good.
I could see how Whippets, like, even without the high, the fleeting high of chemicals in your brain, could be satisfying. Because I was like, how am I going to get rid of this
can?
Yeah. So
you don't want it to explode.
So I stood over the sink, ran some hot water, and just turned it upside down and squirted it out. It was the best 30 seconds of my life, because it goes like, and you ever just take
Very
it to the
satisfying,
limit?
I bet.
Yeah, as it just loses all the compressed.
It's like strangling the life out of a man.
Exactly, but in whipped cream form.
Yeah,
a lot more wholesome.
I had a similar experience that was not as satisfying, which was I got a letter that the fire extinguisher I bought was recalled, and they were going to send me a new fire extinguisher. And then
Did you register your fire extinguisher when you bought it? Why would you get a letter in the mail?
I registered it with the local fire department.
That's cool. You just wanted to go hang out with the firemen.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, hey, if you guys need any help, I got one of these kitchen-sized fire extinguishers, and I'm.
You guys have any of those calendars? Any extras floating around here?
You guys do those beefcake calendars at this firehouse, or what?
They do it at every firehouse.
Not at every firehouse.
Well, they're stupid because.
Well, they're not stupid because I've been to some.
Are like, well, we don't have any funding, and it's like, yeah, we'll get together, take off your shirts, and make a dang calendar once in a while.
Well, because Tim, if you go to some of these firehouses, sometimes they don't have any guys you want to see that way.
I don't know. I don't think it's about the physique, Tom. I think it's about the mystique.
There's no.
It's about the attitude.
No, it's the physique. You want to see some hunky firefighters.
Tom, I used to go to this the supermarket that was right across the street from a firehouse.
Yeah,
and so you'd always see the firefighters doing their shopping.
Oh, they do. Yeah, there's a firehouse near me that shops at the supermarket near me, and they get just like an insane amount of stuff.
They get an insane amount of stuff, but I'm always just kind of starstruck. I was always starstruck when I saw him. I was like, thank you for your service, folks. And one time I saw this little kid who his mom was like, oh, well, they'll go say hi. And this kid was all starstruck like I was and went up and started shaking their hands and taking pictures.
And that gave you the courage to do it.
No, this kid was in a full firefighter's uniform. And I wasn't sure if they were
just a coincidence or
but I guess kids once in a while are just like, I guess I'll just go out today dressed as a firefighter.
Maybe it was staged for your benefit.
Yeah. Well, it was
remember
still talking about it to this day. So.
There was a kid in our grade school, in my grade, that came to school once wearing a astronaut outfit, and it did not go well for him.
No. How old was he?
Like too old to be doing that. Like probably like 5th grade.
Yeah, I feel like that would fly now.
Well, the important part of this was it was not like a very
STEM education.
Well, an important part of this was it was not a very accurate astronaut suit. It was basically just like a shiny astronaut suit. Not an astronaut suit. It was a shiny onesie with an astronaut style hood, but a soft hood.
Why did this person wear it?
I don't know. That's what everybody asked before they started relentlessly mocking him for wearing it.
When I was in 5th grade and Superman died, a classmate came in wearing the black armband that came with the last issue.
That's fine. He's mourning.
But everybody's like, why are you wearing that? And he realized, oh, no, this isn't cool. So he said, my mom made me wear it. But that's not true. Nobody's mom makes them wear an armband mourning Superman.
Nowadays, I could see a mom doing it, but in the 80s, 90s, no.
Yeah, because our stupid generation's diseased minds. Comic books. I feel strongly about the death of a fictional character. But back then, no. She was a single mom, too.
Yeah. There was no way she had the time to...
no.
She was probably like on her way to work. He's like, no, Mom, you have to pin the armband, because I remember that armband.
Well, he came into school late that day because it was the day it came out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could reserve them. It was fine.
Yeah, but he still went and got it.
Yeah.
I got one copy of it. I opened it the first day.
I had 2 copies. I opened one. One, I believe, is still sealed to this day and still relatively worthless.
Oh. Do you have it in a safe deposit box?
No, because it's not really worth anything. It's in a comic book box.
How much is the armband worth?
I don't think the armband's worth it.
What about the trading
actual
card?
Comic sealed in the poly bag is worth like $5 maybe now. It might be worth more than that sealed. Maybe it's worth $20.
Wow, not bad.
Not bad. That's not a good return on investment.
How much did you pay for it?
I think it was probably $4 or $5 to buy it when it came out. It was probably on the higher end.
Right. Let's see what it's going for on eBay. Electronic bag.
How the hell did we even get on this? I was going to tell you that when I got this letter about my fire extinguisher and they were like, we'll send you a new fire extinguisher. Either send the old one back to us, which will require like going to FedEx, or they were like, empty it and then dispose of it properly, recycle it. I was like, I'll do it in the shower because I've always wanted to shoot a fire extinguisher. I've never done that.
While you were taking a shower?
Not while I was taking a shower, but I figured the shower would confine...
Blow your nards right off.
The shower would confine the foam. It didn't. When you shoot one of those fire extinguishers, it just like shoots powder everywhere.
Did you just cough a lot? It's like the carbon monoxide.
No, it's not that. That's what fire makes. No, it's just like dust. It's like some kind of a powder that I guess suffocates the fire.
What did you think would come out?
Foam.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be like a whipped cream thing, but it wasn't. It was a foam thing, and then my apartment just had foam all over it
Powder.
for like a day. Yeah, powder rather. Foam I
Foam
could
would
live
be
with.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, I could have a party. I
Is
could
that
just
what
pass
was
it
wrong?
off as a
That
foam
they
party.
accidentally filled the fire extinguishers with powder instead of foam?
I don't know
Is
what
that why
happened with this
the
goddamn.
government sent you a letter?
I'll tell you what happened. I got that fire extinguisher that I bought for, I don't know, like $15 or whatever. Twice they replaced it. They had recalls. And I was like, this is too much trouble, guys.
Yeah, why don't
I'm
you
just
just get a
trying to
better
get
fire extinguisher?
Look, I'm not planning on starting. It was the gold standard of fire extinguishers.
Do you care to say the name of the brand?
Kitty, KIDDE.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Tide.
that's the fire extinguisher that's out there on the market right now.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
you go out shopping, that's the one they're going to sell.
I mean, I get a professional grade, but yeah.
But
I
yeah,
prefer
by
foam to
by
powder.
the second time they had to replace it, it was like, guys, look, I wasn't planning on starting a fire in my apartment in the first place.
You haven't lived, Tom, until you start fires recreationally in your
Look,
kitchen.
I've started a few fires in this apartment, but
knock on wood. I have never lit my kitchen on fire, and I find that to be unlikely.
yeah,
That would be the case. I'd be
Me too.
Or I've never scalded myself.
I've like burnt my fingers like a little bit
Burn
here
my
and there.
tongue sometimes.
Yeah, burn
You
my
know,
tongue
when
all
you-
the time.
You know, you watch these TV shows,
Mm-hmm.
you read these cookbooks,
Yeah.
and they tell you, "Oh, you got to taste your food as you're eating it
No,
to
it's
make
too
sure
damn hot."
Yeah, every time I try to taste it, it's too hot. And if I do manage to be like, I'm still gonna taste it anyway.
Yeah.
I can't taste anything.
And also, that's what's going on at restaurants. Back in the restaurant, the chef's licking everything.
Yeah,
Gross.
I think
That's why I only eat packaged food.
Yeah, I bet if you spent 5 minutes in the kitchen of any restaurant, you'd never go to a restaurant. ever
Every
again.
time we'll get to the topic at hand shortly, but part of it was that I was like eating out all week, which I never do.
At restaurants.
Yeah. And every time I was facing like a kitchen and like the door would open, I'd be like, I don't want to see what's going on back there. Please just let me eat in ignorance.
Now, why is that? Because you have no respect for the staff?
No, because it's like I might see something gross. So the one time I saw they were receiving a delivery and they had like a big bag of, I don't know, coconuts or something. And they'd put,
Alright.
but it was like a sealed plastic, it wasn't like a net. It was a sealed plastic bag. And they put it on the floor as they were receiving the delivery. And in my mind, I know that's fine. Like it's
They're
sealed.
not using the hair of the coconut.
Right. But just seeing something on the floor. Oh man, one time I was at I was walking by the grocery store near me and I saw these guys delivering bread and they were delivering hot dog rolls and one of the hot dog rolls one of the bags fell in a puddle and they picked it up and put it back on the thing and I was like, "Oh god."
Plastic bag?
Yeah,
Who
plastic.
cares? That's why God invented plastic.
God, Tim, for the last time, God didn't invent plastic.
Then who did?
Well, Tim, as I alluded to earlier, the topic of this week's...
Did you allude to it?
Yeah, I said that we would be talking about why I was going to restaurants every night.
Yeah.
I just got back from a vacation.
Well, la-di-da.
I
I've
went-
had one of the hardest weeks of my life.
Yeah, you were talking about a little bit off mic.
Toiling away.
Where you were like, "Oh God, this week." Right before we were about to record, I was like, do you hold on? I'll start recording. You can bitch about your week, and it was like, nah, it's not like stuff I can talk about on
Yeah.
the show.
I mean, it's fine. Everything's fine. But it's one of those times where everything's going on at once.
Yeah,
And there's like no respite. Like
Right.
work is busy, and then I have things going on when I get home. Like
Yeah.
I have to. I'm working on as well.
uh-huh.
And it's all I want to do is sit down and watch television.
Right.
I've done a fair amount of that actually.
That's part of the reason why everything's so hectic.
Yeah, I probably could have been using that time better.
Well, Tim, I was while you were running the
Someone's got to keep things going around here.
while you were running around in the rat race, I was living it up. I was relaxing in Key West, Florida.
Wow, that's part of a rat race of your own.
I
you,
was
like,
there
trying
for
to
a
get a
rat
treasure?
race competition. Yeah, I was. It was much like the film Rat Race,
Yeah.
starring
Everybody.
yeah, pretty much everybody that you could
John
think of.
Lovitz.
Yeah, was it Mr. Bean in it?
Yeah.
Well, Rowan Atkinson,
Mm-hmm.
not actually Mr. Bean.
Smash Mouth.
Were they in it?
Yeah.
I gotta see this movie.
Who is the titular rat?
What's his name was in it? Seth Green, I think he was in it.
Breckin Meyer, was he in it?
Yeah, probably. If Seth Green was in it,
Yeah.
it was a Cannonball Run style movie, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah. Or It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Right.
Do you remember did you ever see that movie?
No.
It was all the comedy legend. It's all the comedy legends that
Way past their prime.
that you're like, the old men talked about this. They have
Right.
the Three Stooges there, but
Oh.
they're like hooked up to like dialysis machines or something. Like, or it just like there's like, oh, look at these guys, and it's just three impossibly old men, and they're like, oh no, and then Jack Benny's there or something. You know, it's one of those things.
I feel like that's one thing that's changed. Nowadays, comedy legends age better. I feel like when we were...
they get rich.
Yeah, I guess that's really what it is. That like the Three Stooges all died poor, so it's like, yeah, they're all...
Yeah, and Larry's like, I've been getting hit with a wrench for 45 years.
Yeah, it's I have CTE. I can't remember anything.
Larry. See, yeah, Larry is underrated.
Of course, the Three Stooges aren't the Three Stooges unless they got all of them.
Yeah. I mean, Curly was in so few.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway.
Tim, I went to Key West, Florida for a vacation. A week-long vacation. I have not been on a week-long vacation, and I can't tell you how long.
What kind of sad state of affairs is it where when you said you were, like, we had to, look, again, we had to adjust our recording schedules. 'Cause
Very minorly.
but you said, I'm going on vacation. And I was like, for 7 days?
Yeah.
A 7-day long vacation? Yeah.
Well, and similarly...
Are you going to mention the song 9 to 5?
What?
You listen to the song 9 to 5. It's
Yeah.
another thing. They're complaining about having a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Listen,
People
millennials would kill for that.
Yeah, I know. We both know multiple people that have gotten more corporate type jobs after working for startup type companies. And they're like, oh, it's so nice. I get to leave at 5. This is amazing.
But Dolly is all like, I have to work 9 to 5.
Well, she's famously lazy, famously not hardworking.
Yeah. Is that a smart tack to take? Do you want to be an anti-Dolly Parton podcast?
No.
The most universally beloved person.
Yeah, Jesus. That would paint the biggest target on our back you could ever
You
imagine.
know who else I hate? Michelle Obama. Just kidding. The two of them,
Unstoppable.
unstoppable.
So, yeah, a week-long vacation.
I'm more of a Mark Lynn Baker type of guy.
What?
I just feel like this show needs to be about something.
Uh-huh.
And I think if we become Mark Lynn Baker stands, then like that's what this show like.
We
that's
are,
the defining.
but at the detriment of Dolly Parton?
No, Dolly. Look, Dolly's been commented on
What the hell are you
enough.
talking about? I'm more of a Mark Lynn Baker guy. What the hell does that mean?
Because look,
Yeah, he's great, of course.
yeah, but not. That's at least not. That's not something that a viewpoint that everybody shares.
But what do you know about his life outside of the roles he's played?
That
Is
he's
he-
a professional actor.
Yeah, but you don't know if, like, oh, here's his take on how many hours of work how many hours a week you should be working.
I mean, he keeps it to himself.
You're typing, you're Googling how many hours a week does Mark Lynn Baker think people should work?
I mean, yeah, and okay, 40 hours a week.
Oh, okay. Ever tell you I saw him on stage on Broadway?
No.
Yeah, and funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. He was great.
The 96 revival?
Yeah. Oh, when he stepped out on stage, Tim, I didn't know. That was easily the most starstruck I've ever been in my life.
Then were you very disappointed when you're like, well, surely Balky will come out any moment now?
No, I knew.
And it was freaking Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane was delightful as well.
In 1983, he appeared in a Broadway version of the Doonesbury comic strip.
Why would they have done that?
I don't know.
So anyway, I went to Key West, and what you were saying, Tim, after 7 days, I was actually kind of itching to get home, but at the same time, also because I just felt like all my responsibility, like I was too anxious. Like I went from relaxed to anxious of like, I got to get back. Like things are falling apart. Like I'm not keeping tabs of everything.
Oh,
in my
really?
life. Yeah.
When I went on my honeymoon to Hawaii.
Yeah, rub it in again that I wasn't invited.
Tom, you were invited.
Well, I couldn't make it.
I pointedly did
Tim,
not...
actually, your wife pulled me aside and told me she would prefer I didn't come.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. I mean, she... I don't know. She didn't... She doesn't like you, Tom. I was gonna keep up the charade. That's weird because she speaks highly of you when you're
right.
not around. She hates your guts.
But yeah, it's too much work to keep that charade up.
I come here and I do this every week.
And then you have to go home and sleep on the couch.
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know I do this.
Oh, she doesn't know.
No,
Oh,
I tell her I'm at the strip club.
You're gonna get whacked with a rolling pin when you go home and she finds out one day.
I had to cover myself in glitter and perfume.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's just down at the strip club with my scumbag friends. She's like, not Tom though, right?
Oh, so I'm not one of your scumbag friends.
Nah. She's like, yeah, who are you there with? Paul McKenna? Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I maybe 2 weeks was, I think at the end of the first week, I was like, I'm anxious to get back. Like, I feel like, I don't deserve this or something, right?
Right? Yeah.
But then by the end of the second week, you get to this place where it's like, this
is life now.
I never want to go back. Don't make me go back. Oh God, I have to go back. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe I can run away forever.
I was having both those feelings at the same time of not running, well, a little running away forever, I guess. There was a book at one of the gift shops that was called something like How to Quit Your Job and Move to Key West, the complete guide.
Yeah.
I was thinking about issuing a cease and desist.
Yeah. Did you at least rip the covers off all the copies they had there?
Told them these are remainders now. Send it back. But by the last couple of days, there was definitely a little bit of scheming of like, well, could do the show over Skype. Could do, I can write anywhere.
Tom, if you moved to Key West, that'd be fine, but we'd end this. This wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, every week
Skype
I would
to you in your freaking Tommy Bahama shorts.
Every week I would just be on the show saying like, I don't know, I don't have a problem with anything. Everything's fine.
Drinking coconut.
Mai Tais out of a coconut. But yeah, unfortunately, I have to live in New York to have enough stuff to complain about to continue a podcast.
Why do you live in New York?
I don't know. Because you know what,
Why
Tim?
don't any of us live here?
It's a city that's got it all.
What? Doonesbury the musical.
Doonesbury the musical, which I believe is still running.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Key West isn't cheap to live in either, but it is a lot nicer. You know what? I think I realized what the main draw of Key West is.
No income tax.
Oh, in Florida, yeah. Is it no income tax? Is that what their thing is?
I think so. No state income tax.
Right? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you have to pay the federal. Hey,
and
they
can't seize property, I believe is the other thing. That's why OJ moved there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all I know about Florida's laws come from O.J. Simpson.
The only thing I know about the law in general is from the O.J. trial.
Right. Like, well, you can't do double jeopardy, but you can have a civil case. Yeah, Key West, Florida. What was really nice about it is that it's the Caribbean, essentially. You're in a tropical climate, but you still have all the trappings of like the rest of America that simultaneously makes our country really nice and really shitty, which is like CVS and Walgreens that are open 24 hours, restaurants and bars that are open late. Yeah, because I like there's such a comfort. This is why when we go to the UK and
I guess you're right.
in Europe, there's such anxiety on my part of like, well, if I don't have everything I need by 5 o'clock, I'm going to have to wait until 9 o'clock in the morning for it.
Yeah, and I hate that as well. And I also hate, that's why I never want to stay on a Sunday either, because the only thing that's open on a Sunday is a Sunday roast.
Right. And I don't actually need anything usually, but it's that anxiety of, well, what if I do? I mean, we've been there a bunch of times, and you've seen how I'll just stock up. I'll just buy like 10 sandwiches and a bunch of water. It's like I'm preparing for the apocalypse.
I mean, I'm the same way. I chose to live in New York because it's like, well, at 2 a.m. if I want a hamburger, this is the only
There's multiple options.
Yeah.
So that's, and I think, the actual, or the rest of the Caribbean, it is actually relaxed, and it is actually, well, you can't get shit at night. Mm-hmm. You can't get shit on Sundays. But this is American enough and Floridian enough. And it's like, nope, everything's still open all the time.
Yeah. We're going
to cater to your every whim.
Still some poor bastard earning minimum wage that has to sit in a drugstore under fluorescent lights at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday.
You know what I found out? Like a lot of the restaurant workers and bar staff and stuff that work down there,
fueled by cocaine, we know.
they live on like boats, because you can just dock your boat in the harbor or whatever, and that's fine. You can like stay there as long as you want. So a lot of them live on boats because they can't afford to live other places, or they have to do a bigger commute.
But is it crowded, the dock space?
They're not in the docks. They're like anchored offshore.
So what, are they taking dinghy to work?
I assume some kind of a dinghy. I was trying to figure that out, actually.
Well, where do they store the dinghy? This is what I don't understand about boats.
Yeah, I was assuming that there's some kind of a service, that there's enough people doing this that's like, you got to talk to Big Hank. Hank, he runs the dinghy service for all the restaurant workers, and he, you talk to him. He writes down the time you got to be at work in a little notebook, and you pay him $100 a week or whatever, and he comes and gets you.
I wouldn't want to live on a boat, Tom.
No, it'd suck.
I've never been comfortable on a boat ever.
I went on a glass bottom boat, and first off, the whole time I had stuck in my head, glass bottom boats, you make the rockin' world go round, which sucked.
Ooh, you're gonna take me
home tonight
to the bay. Glass bottom
boats, you make the rockin' world. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Was that song featured in the film Bohemian Rhapsody?
I still haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, so I don't know. I got seasick a little bit on that boat, because you're looking at this glass bottom and you're in the sea, so it's like pretty wavy,
right?
Rough seas. That's what the sailors say. Mm-hmm. And if you're in rough seas and you're just staring down for a long time, when you put your head back up, you go like this. Ooh, I don't feel so good. A lot of people did.
Did you see any sharks under the boat?
No, and that was the thing too. I saw like a little bit of coral reef and a few fishies.
Fish? Mermaid?
No mermaids. That's what I was looking for.
Crabs playing.
Not even any crabs.
Xylophone?
No, just like a bunch of reef, things I could just look at pictures of and it would have been fine.
I find that with most places I go. Anything I see there, you could generally just see a picture, probably on a computer somewhere.
Well, let me tell you about some of the things I went and saw, because I went on a lot of tours and whatnot. First off, let me tell you about something you can only see in pictures, which is ghosts sometimes.
Tom, I saw this.
Uh-huh.
I have a question.
Yes.
You went on a ghost tour.
Yeah.
You went. What? Are you comfortable? Kind of
blowing the lid off of.
No. What were the circumstances of this
vacation?
Yeah.
So it was my family.
Right.
I went with my girlfriend. So this is my mom's thing. She was like, I'm gonna, she's been talking about it for years.
This is cool as hell. I love when stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
By the way,
my mom and dad had gone to Key West a bunch of times. They loved it. And my mom was like, I want to bring everybody down to Key West. I didn't realize or forgotten that my brother and sister-in-law had been down there twice before.
They all went without you?
No, not with like my mom.
We'll invite Tommy this time.
Yeah, that would have sucked. No, so it was my mom, my brother, my brother's wife, a.k.a. my sister-in-law, their daughter, a.k.a.
a baby.
Yes, my niece, who's about 1.5, and my girlfriend, and me. So we all went down there. We stayed in a house, 3 bedrooms, so it was fine. We weren't all sleeping in one big bed together. And that's the circumstances.
You said that as if like maybe you did all sleep in one big bed together?
The first night we had to. Okay. But so that was the circumstances I was down there for. But it was a very much like, hey, everybody do what you want.
Live and let live. Let your freak flag fly.
Like
you want to go on a ghost tour? Yeah.
My mom is not a very type A person. So it's not like, oh, I'm paying for this house and you guys are coming down here and we're going to do what I want to do. It's like, I'm going to pay for this house. If you guys come down, there's a place to stay and we can hang out. We cannot hang out, whatever.
Saw your mom in a Dunkin' Donuts the day after Christmas.
A few months ago, yes. And how is that relevant to this story?
It involved your mom.
Yeah. Okay. Are you mad she didn't invite you?
No. I was mad she didn't say hi to me.
She did say hi to you.
Yeah, we had a conversation.
Anyway, yeah. So that was the circumstances. And one of the many tours I went on was a ghost tour. Then that was just me and my girlfriend.
Your long-suffering girlfriend. Is she into ghosts?
She's super into ghosts, Tim. Not super into ghosts, but she's into ghosts enough. She's into murder a lot.
Cool.
You know how people like murder podcasts and things like that.
Murdering people,
figuring out the perfect way.
Gruesome crime scene photos.
She doesn't look at, she might look at gruesome crime. I don't know.
Does she think she's ever going to solve the murders?
I don't think it's like an aspirational thing. I think it's just like an interest thing.
Okay.
A lot of women are into true crime, Tim.
Okay, I'm not knocking it.
All right. But yeah, so she was not, in fact, this was kind of the thing where I was like, yeah, we'll go on a ghost tour while we're down there. And she was actually like prodding me like, hey, like, let's figure out the ghost tour thing. Let's go on the ghost tour.
How many ghost tours have you been on in your life?
Not enough, I'll tell you that much. Maybe 3?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those things where every time you're in a new city, you go on a ghost
No,
tour.
I wish. I might start doing it that way. I'll tell you what, all kidding aside, it's a fun way to learn the history of a place without it being as boring as learning the history of a place.
Yeah. I went on a ghost tour in Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
A few years back, a friend got it on Groupon.
Yeah.
Groupon was the worst thing ever. Still around?
Yeah, it's still around. It's a shadow of itself.
Yeah.
But were they like, oh, this is where the ghosts of Bruce Springsteen haunts?
No, it was worse than that. They brought us to the purported friend's apartment, and they were like, oh, and these 6 people after May 15th, 2004, they suddenly disappeared and nobody ever heard from them again. It's like, yeah, that's not a ghost thing. The television show ended.
Is that real?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
What?
That they told you that?
Yeah. I think, because it was around Halloween,
Huh?
I think this was just a normal Greenwich Village tour that they retrofitted
that's
into...
100% what it is. Tim, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I know. I was angry about it.
Oh, okay.
Luckily, I didn't pay a lot because it was a Groupon. I don't think I ever paid
the person back?
Yeah. It was Femmes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she hasn't listened to this. She'll never know.
Yeah.
I went
and saw the movie Argo afterwards.
I still haven't seen Argo.
That was a good movie.
All I know is
It was fine.
I know Argo. Fuck yourself.
Well,
I'd like to
you,
see
Dan.
it for that.
That's why my wife didn't want you to come to Hawaii with us.
That's the only reason. It's cussing.
He says Argo F yourself constantly.
Yeah. So this tour was not a retrofit tour, Tim. This was a tour where the tour guide was like, I'm not going to give too much information about this tour because I actually wanted to follow the guy on Instagram, and I was afraid, based on how few Instagram followers he had, that if he saw me follow him, like I have a decent number, that he'd be like, oh, and try and ride my coattails, as they were.
What? You have some concerns that are pretty
Look, Tim,
irrational.
these are
Ride your
concerns.
coattails in what way?
I don't know, Tim. Start mentioning me on the tour and stuff. Like, oh, Tom Morellis took this tour once. And
Why? Because you have like
low
2,000
four figures Instagram followers. No, that actually isn't. Hey, look, just joking. Just kidding.
JK. Okay, but don't say too much lest this guy get too much attention.
No, it's not even that, because I don't want people to text him and tell him, but not text him. I'm going to assume people listening to this have his phone number, but I don't want people to tell him, hey, go listen to this. I don't want any snitches.
Yeah, I stayed at a strange bed and breakfast one time. Talked about it on this show at length, and then within 2 hours of us releasing that episode, so many people tweeted at me, oh, is this the place you stayed at? And a link to and it's like, oh no, I hope no.
Yeah, don't snitch.
No snitching.
So anyway, there's only 3 or 4 ghost tour companies you can figure out if you really want to. But this one was great. But the guy right at the top was like, basically just so you guys know, I'm real experience in this. I'm a paranormal investigator. I've been doing paranormal investigations for 12 years, and I've written multiple books and all this.
That's why I give tours to tourists.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were running the numbers in our head afterwards, and we're like, yeah, this guy I think makes $500 a night doing a 90-minute walking tour.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty nice. And then alongside,
what day of the week did you go?
And that, it was a Monday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It was Saturday night. Let's not go crazy. Let's not extrapolate.
No, it was a weeknight, and he had a pretty full tour. So yeah, we were running the numbers, and we were like, there's really no expenses. It seemed like there were 2 locations. Maybe he paid them off to get in. But even then, I don't think so. I think it was just, hey, I'm going to bring you to these places, and, I'll tell you what they were. One place was the Hard Rock Cafe.
Wait, the ghosts were in the Hard Rock Cafe?
It wasn't always a Hard Rock Cafe, you see, Tim. But, he gave us, afterwards, oh, here's, a coupon, buy one, get one free. So I could see the Hard Rock being
they're giving him a little bit of a kickback, too.
Yeah, something. Well, not a kickback. I'm thinking it's just quid pro quo. Oh, yeah, we'll let you access this part of the because that was the thing. It wasn't oh, we just went out front. We went into a back room of the Hard Rock Cafe. I mean,
even if it weren't a ghost tour, I'd pay good money for that alone.
Exactly. Look, Tim, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't pay as much as this tour cost, but I was pretty impressed just that I was going behind the scenes of a Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah. Did you see any memorabilia that wasn't ready for prime time?
Jesus Christ. Tim, they've built way too many of these Hard Rock cafes because the memorabilia they had on the wall, mounted on the wall, a pair of drumsticks that belonged to the drummer for Snoop Dogg.
That doesn't have a drummer?
No, it was like, what? The drummer? Why are these in like a case and mounted on the wall?
You couldn't get a symbol from him?
Right. And if somebody offered hey, you want these? Snoop Dogg's drummer used them. No, thanks. Like, I don't have a need for that.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. This touring drummer? Okay. Mm-hmm. For a guy that you don't associate with a live drummer? Anyway.
Do you think he was a part of the Snoop Lion project? The reggae?
It said Snoop Dogg. So but maybe they're like, we don't want to say Snoop Lion. People joke about that, like you.
What do you mean? I'm not joking about it.
Anyway, so he gave
Is that offensive what I did? You
No.
acted like, okay.
I just want to move along. I got a lot of ground to cover here.
Sorry. Do you want to talk more about Mark Lynn Baker first?
Yes, but no, not right now. So that was one place, and then another place was like a place that has tours, like historical tours during the day. I think it was like the oldest house in Key West. So they have like tours during the day, and this was just he had a key to the fence so we could get into the backyard, which is haunted. And there was kind of like a plug for, here's the haunted history of this place. But then, hey, there's a great museum you should visit during the day. So I think it was just that kind of thing, like a quid pro quo, like you're going to get a little business. This isn't really taking any skin off your nose. Let me in here for 15 minutes, when the places are closed or inaccessible anyway. I did go back to Hard Rock like the next day. So
use your coupon?
I tried to use the coupon.
This is why you don't want this guy to follow you? Did he pass you bad coupons?
No, the bartender explained to me like, no, actually I gave you like the happy hour price and that's better. And I was like, whatever, I don't care. Also, that bartender seemed like, I don't know, mad at me or something because I went there for a drink while my girlfriend was next door. And the people next to me, it was a couple. It was like a white guy, close to our age, and I think she might have been Cuban, his girlfriend, and he didn't speak Spanish. She didn't speak English, and the bartender noticed this. And
wait, they were on a date, or do you think they were an item?
I think they were an item. Based on the conversation I was hearing.
Okay. But did they always need the bartender there to translate?
No, the bartender wasn't translating. The bartender was an old white lady, an old blonde white lady. And she was like she was getting all this information out of them. And I was glad because I wasn't being pumped for information. So, but she's like, I dated. And she like named some baseball player I've never heard of. And he's like, he played in the Cuban leagues, blah, 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 blah. And I couldn't see what their faces were, but apparently their faces suggested that they didn't believe her. So she went and got her phone and then showed a picture of her from like a Playboy in the 80s, where she was like a rockin' 80s babe in lingerie. And she's like, this used to be me. See, now you believe me that I used to date a professional baseball player.
That's cool.
And I glanced over because, of course, I'm
a lady
interested
showing
in this.
Playboy pictures on her phone. Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of gave me a dirty look, like I'm trying to show them, not you.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
So anyway,
wait, what was the point that the couple was together, but they can't understand each other?
Yeah.
That's
and she was just trying to make conversation, saying like, "Oh, I dated a Cuban baseball player."
Right.
Well, and she was saying. He would only speak Spanish to me and I would only speak English to him. And that's how I helped him learn English and how he helped me learn Spanish. I think that was basically the point.
Oh, okay.
But anyway.
And here's me from Playboy magazine in 1984.
Yeah, because you guys don't believe that I dated a professional baseball player because I look like I've been through a lot.
Well, sometimes people have to go through a lot.
Yeah. So The other place, though, one of the many places, but the old house, that's where I got a picture of a ghost.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well,
Did you post this to Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any ghost.
So, well, I'll show you the picture. Maybe we'll even post it in the comments or whatever here. I don't know how.
Tom, we've been doing a podcast for 11 years. What
comments?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Maybe there'll be a link in the show notes if you know how to access those, or go to our Reddit or something. I'll post them somewhere. Just look everywhere. You'll find it. It was I'll tell you what, when I showed the tour guide the picture, he was like, "Oh, wow. Yeah, that's something."
Yep. My tour isn't just a lie.
He showed it to everybody to show them the ghosts that I got a picture of.
Now, there was a picture of your girlfriend holding
a divining rods.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of bullshit. That didn't really work.
What's a divining rod?
Divining. You said defining rod.
Divinals.
It's two copper, like L-shaped rods, and then they've got a tube around them that you use as a handle. And basically, the rods are kind of like free-flowing, and the ghosts can like make them move. So you say to the ghosts like, "Hey, show me what a yes is for you. Show me what you can do."
That's just a Ouija board situation.
Kind of. And in her case specifically, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, look, the left one's moving this way," and it was like, not really. None of these are really moving. But then he gave me another.
Were you just mad that you didn't get to hold the divining rod?
A little bit, but then next I got to hold like a different thing that was like a random speech generator. But it didn't do anything while I was holding it, even though I was in my head praying for a ghost to come through me and use it.
You're praying?
Yeah.
Are ghosts in religion...
Religious?
Yeah, are ghosts and religion mutually exclusive, or is there crossover there?
There's a lot of crossover.
But what if... But what about heaven?
What about... Are you 5 years old? What about heaven?
If you go to heaven, then how is there still a ghost here?
No, because the ghosts have unfinished business, so they can't go to heaven.
That's not in the Bible.
It is in the Bible. Check page 48.
48 of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That checks out.
Yeah, it says right there. Ghosts.
Yeah, I consulted my pocket Bible.
Yeah, I mean, you thought it was silly that we always have a Bible here during the show.
Well, how else are we going to swear each other in?
Did I finish saying everything about the ghost tour that I need to say?
Can I finish? Ross Perot here?
He had us take pictures of the backyard, which was a cemetery. Ooh, I found out the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard.
Ooh. Does it have to do with ghosts?
No. You paused from saying ghosts, and then you said ghosts anyway.
Yeah.
Apparently, a graveyard is for like a church, and a cemetery is for not church.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought it was the other way around.
No, that makes sense. Like, if you think about it...
Because a church thing would have, like, some special name, like tabernacle.
No, that's
cemetery.
a different thing.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, cemetery is a more, like, ornate word than graveyard.
Yeah, but if you think about it, nobody ever tells you, like, yeah, they buried my mom in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, where's the funeral? It's in the graveyard. I thought graveyard was just a spookier word for cemetery.
Yeah, that's what I was
like
asking.
A nighttime cemetery.
Yeah.
But it's not. According to a ghost guy.
I would say, but is a graveyard a cemetery? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
A cemetery is not a graveyard.
Right, but like a cemetery encapsulates everything. I almost said incorporates.
Whoa. We got a real crypt keeper on our hands here.
Incorporates everything.
I don't like the crypt keeper. He's too scary. I don't like his hair.
I thought you were going to say I don't like the crypt keeper anymore. Yeah, his hair's sick.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them's pretty sick if you think about it.
Yeah.
But his hair is especially sick. Yeah, so he has to take a bunch of pictures. I show him my picture. He's very impressed. He showed everybody else. But he showed us a picture, like a few pictures that genuinely sent shivers down my spine.
You're such a mark, Tom.
He shows, because there were other pictures that people had taken on his tour. And one picture was a guy in a naval uniform up on a balcony. It was like clear as day. You could see like he had the whole Navy uniform on, but there was not a man there.
How do you know?
He said there wasn't. And then there was another one where it was like a church parking lot. And he shows this picture, and it's one of those things where you're looking at it and you're like, I don't see anything. And then you're like, oh my God, yeah, there's a face there. The back of a woman. And then he's like, look over her shoulder. You can see a face. And it was crazy. It was a face. Very clearly like a white outline of a face, but very detailed. You could see what the person looked like. She was smiling. And he said, similarly to me, when he showed everybody the picture, somebody was like, oh, I got something weird. And he showed it to everybody. And when he showed it to the woman whose back was to the camera, she started hysterical crying because her sister had died 2 weeks before, and it was her sister.
Wait, she went on a ghost tour 2 weeks after her sister died?
Yeah, people need grieve in their own ways.
Yeah, that'd be too spooky for me.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently it was the sister.
Did he then say, and look at this still from the film 3 Men and a Baby? There's a little ghost boy. He died the week before they filmed this scene.
No. But I do, look, I don't know if I believe in ghosts, but I do believe in some kind of psychic energy.
Mm-hmm.
That if like something really tragic happens in a place, like it leaves something. It lingers somehow. And that can manifest itself in interesting ways.
Wow.
That's the way I think about the paranormal, Tim. That's the way I think about paranormal Tim. Ghost Tim. So that was one of the tours. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, just a nice walk, just a nice night out. The guy warned us. He was like, some people, and I was thinking about this like logistically. He was like, because we were mostly, except for those 2 instances I brought up, mostly in public areas. And he said, look, there's nothing I can do to stop somebody from following us. But here's what I will do.
A ghost or a person?
No, he'd be thrilled if a ghost followed us. A person.
Okay.
But, so like, if somebody follows us, I try
make them into a ghost.
No, I try and be nice and tell them, like, that was a free sample. Here's a brochure. Come out tomorrow night.
See all the same shit you just saw.
Well, no, because...
Pay me... Give me a ballpark.
$30.
Oh, okay. The way you were saying before, it made me think it was more in like the $70.
No, it was.
I'd pay $30 just to go behind the scenes at
Hard Rock
Hard
Cafe.
Rock Cafe.
No, it was.
How close did you get to those drumsticks?
No, they were up on a wall. They knew people didn't want to. That people would want to touch them. It was $30, and you had about 25 people on the tour. So that's where I got the $500 figure from. Okay. And he accepted tips at the end, and I tipped him because he let me use the ghost meter.
Yeah. Did your girlfriend stiff him because the divining rods didn't really do
No,
anything?
she tipped him too.
She stiffed him because she's cheap.
She tipped him too, even though the divining rods. No, because there was actually a discussion afterwards where it was like, we should give him a tip because like he did like pick us out of the group.
Yeah,
we're
you probably had the most excited look on your face.
Yeah, so taking notes the entire time. On our group, there was a group of I assume they were like Eagle Scouts because they were like teenage boys. And it was like, oh, this is gonna suck. All these teenage boys. No, what sucked was the shithead dad that they had with them.
Boy Scout dads are the worst.
This guy was...
I wouldn't say that, but, they're like a little too, like, into it.
This guy was like, using it as an excuse to act how he thinks like a teenage boy would act.
Oh, that's worse.
He had to be like shushed multiple times by the guide. And it was like a guy that he looked like Kevin McAllister's uncle.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Yeah, he looked like that guy. Like he had that
Frank.
Uncle Frank. Like he had that baldness, like with like the Larry.
Yeah,
like so
not
like,
the Larry Appleton.
Right. Just like a very obvious, like, no, this is a middle-aged man. Yeah. This is not an older-looking teen. So yeah, he had to be shushed multiple times. And then when we're in the place, in like the creepiest place of them all, where I got the ghost picture, as the guy's talking, this guy rips a huge fart to like make the other kids like laugh or whatever. But I'm right behind him. So basically a fucking middle-aged man rips a fart at me. And I'm like, oh, like physically I was like, that's disgusting, and walked away from him. Like had to go on the other side, which conveniently I think was how I was picked to hold the ghost meter.
So maybe the ghost engineered it all.
But it was just weird because like Eagle Scouts, like I know at least like the people we went to high school with who were Eagle Scouts, they were like, the valedictorian salute. Like they were the most straight-laced. So these kids were like humiliated by this guy.
Yeah.
Like he let this Tim, I'll tell you, I won't mince words. It sounded like he shit his pants. How wet this fart was. And these kids were just like so embarrassed about it.
I hate that story. So he was an adult. He wasn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he was probably like 50 years old.
How do you know it wasn't a Jack situation? Imagine the movie Jack.
He was
right?
in charge. He was in charge.
Imagine the movie Jack. Maybe that's the only way they would sell them the tickets.
Pretend to be in charge.
Yeah, if you had a full-grown man buy the tickets.
No, because there was another chaperone, another guy, and he was like a regular dad minding his own business, not fucking cracking jokes and farting all the time.
Maybe it might have been a Jack situation. Imagine not Robin Williams in Jack.
Uh-huh.
But like somebody less playful, like imagine
somebody less charming.
Yeah, it was like Steve Buscemi was the lead role in Jack.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be a lot less charming of a movie.
Yeah.
You're like, ugh, this is a weird kid at school. He's not much fun.
I feel like once a month I have to explain to you that Jack isn't real, that's not a disease. Benjamin Button's disease isn't a real disease. You don't understand how anything works.
I'm just talking about the movie.
I know you're talking about the movie, but the movie doesn't translate to real life. This guy wasn't in a Jack situation. It was a grown man. It was the father of one of the children on this tour.
Robin Williams farted in the movie Jack, and he was a kid.
I do remember that.
In a man's body.
Do you know about this... Robert the Doll?
No. Did you do anything normal when you went to Key West?
Yeah, look, we're going to do Key West Part 2 next week. I'll talk about some of the more normal stuff.
Tune in for Part 2, normal Key West.
Well, no, actually, it was annoying to me. I was actually going to text you during the tour because he kept referring to Key West as Key Weird.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, like Holly Weird.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. No, Robert the Doll. So this boy had a doll.
Oh no, this sounds terrifying.
A big doll. Like this doll was like full size. And apparently
Wait, like the size of a full-size man?
No, like the size of a boy though.
Oh, okay.
God, that would be all you'd need. Just like this man had a doll, or this boy had a doll the size of a man.
Yeah,
that'd be scary enough.
Yeah.
We're moving on to the next location. But apparently, like his, he's like a rich boy, like a little Lord Fauntleroy type. And I guess the people that, like his parents had like servants at the house.
When was this?
1800s, early, like a long time ago.
Okay.
And the people that lived there, he kept referring. I think it was Santeria. like the song.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept saying it like Santeria.
Yeah, because
that's probably actually how it's pronounced. Mm-hmm. But apparently, they like the song. They practice Santeria.
Yeah.
And
did they have
a crystal ball or no crystal ball? But apparently, like, the people living there, the rich people, they like freaked out when they saw this. They were like, "Oh, that's witchcraft or whatever," and like fired them all, I guess. But they really liked the boy. He was a nice boy, and they'd given him this doll, and supposedly they put like a spell on the doll to protect the boy, look after the boy. But then from then on, the boy, he would carry the doll with him everywhere, and he was always talking to it.
Mm.
And then weird things would happen, bad things would happen, and they'd be like, "Hey, you knocked that vase off the table while we were gone." And he'd say, "I didn't do it. Robert did it."
Mm.
Oh, here's the weird thing. Oh, what was the kid's name? His name was like
Robert.
Well, the kid's name was like Robert Jean something.
Mm-hmm.
But then he named the doll Robert his name, and he started going by his middle name.
Oh, wow.
Right? So he was like, "Nah, I've given my name to the doll."
That's the weirdest part of the story so
far.
far.
Absolutely. And he would walk around town talking to the doll. And then, people would see, people were just kind of freaked out by this. He like went away, he became a man. He moved away. He found a nice.
He grew up at a normal rate.
Yes. He became a man after 6 months. He found a
farted in front of a bunch of Eagle Scouts.
Oh, God, that makes everything much more terrible. Maybe that man was Robert the doll.
Oh, my God.
So he found a wife. They moved back to Key West, and he was going through his old stuff. He's like, "Oh, my God, Robert's here. I forgot about Robert." So then
was his wife like, "Your name is Robert"?
Yeah. Well, that was the beginning of his wife's trouble, because then apparently he would walk around town with the doll, talking to the doll again, but now as a full-grown man. His wife left him because she was like, "Oh, you're nuts." But anyway, now the doll is on display in a museum, and the doll looks insane. It looks so scary because it's pretty big. It had a wooden head that termites have eaten away at.
Yikes.
And it's in a case. You can get a picture with it, but you have to ask permission.
From the doll?
From the doll. You have to ask permission to take a picture with it. Apparently, some people see the doll nod.
Oh, come
Other
on.
people just feel that it's saying, "Okay, that's
weird.
fine."
Yeah.
And you take a picture. You say, "Thank you." No, I didn't go to that museum.
Were you too afraid?
A little. Well, I was afraid of what I would do.
I'm afraid of getting cursed.
Because they say a lot of people, and this guy was like, it happens constantly. People are like, "Whatever, I'm not going to do that." And they take a picture without asking, and then the doll gets mad and does bad things to them.
Like what?
Like, they go home and they find out they've lost their job.
Right.
Or like their marriage falls apart. Or sometimes it's like they fall and break an arm.
Yeah, it seems like this is too big a risk to take just to take
exactly.
a photo
Like,
with
why
it.
would you risk it?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Either don't take a picture at all or ask nicely.
And what if Robert senses you're not serious? You're asking in a joking manner.
He
right?
doesn't like being made fun of either,
Yeah,
apparently.
can
So
imagine.
you can't do that either. And behind Robert the doll, they have like
I'm afraid he's going to do something to me just for talking about him.
right. Behind him, there's like, I don't know, dozens, hundreds of letters of apology that people have sent to the museum after not asking permission, taking a picture with them, and then bad things happening to them. And then they write a letter apologizing so that the curse is lifted.
Well, I'm terrified. Tom, I'm literally not making jokes that I want to make.
Right.
Because I'm afraid that Robert will find out about them.
He will, Tim. He's everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Wow. You've finally been censored by Robert the doll. Yeah. Key weird, wild stuff. Weird. Oh, this is wild.
Well, tune in next week for Normal Tales from Key
for
West.
Key Normal. If you like the show, find out more by going to tcgte.com. You can, God, there are people like planning vacations that just listen to this. Found it on iTunes. Hey, and if you liked it, leave a review. If you didn't, go do a different website. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Complete Guide. Follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal, Tim.
If you want to support the show, go to Amazon via tcgt.com/Amazon for all your Amazon shopping, and patreon.com/Complete Guide for Books the Podcast and a bunch of other back episodes of other Patreon exclusive podcasts we've done. Books the Podcast right now. We're getting to near the finish line of Papa, the Story of Papa John's by John H. Schnatter. I'm reading it, telling Tim about it. We're learning all about the man behind the pizza, Papa John, a true jerk. Patreon.com/Complete Guide to get that bonus show.
Tom?
Uh-huh.
Are you done with the plugs?
Yeah, I'm done with the plugs.
Your projects?
I have so many more notes to talk about that, yeah, part 2 is
Maybe
necessary.
you didn't spend so much time going on and on about Mark Lynn Baker.
I have all these notes. We got through the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have about 16...
My first note is Ghost Tour, Robert the Doll, Ghost Meter, Divining Rods.
That's 4 notes.
They're in
yeah,
parentheses.
Yeah. All right. All
I've
under
got so much more.
All right, Tom, I
the
have a
people down there.
Tom, save it. Are you going to remember
the
all this?
Hemingway house?
Okay. Are you going to remember these anecdotes if they're not fresh
I've written
in your
them all
mind?
down.
No. Like, are you going to be like,
Yeah.
people down there? What was my
No,
my
I've
angle
got
there?
a lot to say about the people down there.
Can we start a tour here in New York?
We should look into it.
Right?
Probably. I mean, I think you need some kind of a license, but I can't imagine it's that hard. And
But what if
also, I
it's-
can't imagine you really need it.
Yeah. What if it's like pretty underground?
Yeah.
That makes it cooler. Remember the guy
call
in
it
Greenpoint that was making the lobster rolls out of his apartment?
Yeah. Yeah. Remember we went there and we ate lobster rolls a guy made in his apartment?
Yeah.
They
The
were really
Department
good.
of Health didn't say that was okay.
Yeah. Well, he got shut down. I think he got in big trouble, but
Yeah, but not before he got rich, presumably.
I don't think he got that rich either. Am I misremembering, or did he pass him through a mail slot?
I think he did.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. Boy, that was back when Greenpoint, Brooklyn was Weird Point.
What would our tour be? Should we just do a ghost tour?
We should do a tour of Greenpoint where we just point out things that used to be there. Yeah, we used to get drunk over here. There's not a bar there anymore.
Condos, huh?
Yeah, it'd just be
The
like
rich get richer, isn't that right, folks?
just a grumpy old men tour.
Yeah, I think
show
people would
'em-
pay good money for that.
We show them all the locations where they film grumpy old men.
Nice.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.